Welcome to the IAOB SMMT YouTube channel. These 13 videos were filmed at Faltec Europe Ltd in Sutherland, UK, and will focus on techniques that can be used while conducting first, second, or third-party audits using the IATF 16949 standard. These are simulated scenarios and are not intended as a full representation of an IATF audit.
So I want to follow the audit trail then. When I've been in production, I've been seeing the first off checks that are done by the production guys. And they told me when they've finished their checks, they bring the product to the lab. So can we pick up from there? What happens next?
So there's a two process, injection and metals. So metals do their own checks.
Right.
So all the metal gauges are on the section. They do their own checks. The injection is more trickier because they only do one every 8 hours.
Right.
So it's got plenty of time. So they fill their in-post check sheet. They put the
Can you show me an example?
Yeah. So for example, this is the part number. So these are the part numbers on display here. These are the one which comes on for quality to check.
Right. So I think the part number we were following on the shop floor then.
It's that one. It's a rear bumper lower.
So 85 OB 26U AOA.
Yeah.
Okay.
They will put the part on the top of
Let's pick up
here.
with that then.
Yeah. And this is the part, they bring it here, leave it here, and then we take it inside, do the gauging for that.
Right. And the check sheet, can you show me
It's
the
on
check
the
sheet?
live document, so it will be on the X drive, so I can show you online.
Okay.
So we also have a normal document, a hard copy, but it's only filled in for the visual. And the ID marks there in the part and the weight of the part.
Yeah, and I have seen that in the production. So I'm more interested in the lab checks.
Yeah.
So let's go into the lab then.
Definitely.
And you can walk me through the checks that you do on this part.
Yeah, no problem. So we put a part on the gauge. It replicates how it's going to go on the car. Fix everything in. That's how it's going to fit on the vehicle.
Okay, so thanks for setting that up. So now what I'm interested in is the checks that you do in terms of the first off verification.
No problem. So we have a inspection report. What we fill in is for the gauge data. So we got all the history of every day, what we've been doing, all the timings of it when we gauge the part. It tells you what to gauge, what points to measure. So everything's there. So we'll start with the measurement 1, 5.1, 5.2, and we'll just go on along that. We got 5.1, we'll stay on 5.1. This is the DTI what we use, digital caliber. We got a U-wave which can automatically do that. So for example, if I put it in, it will give me a reading of -0.4. I'll press a button and it should directly go on there. And then we move along. It's -0.17. We just press it there.
And does this tell you whether it's in specification?
Yes, so the sheet itself is it's got a formatting on it. So the specification on there, it says tolerance, upper tolerance is 0.7 and lower tolerance is -0.7. So if you look at it, if it's away, it's going to go red straight away. And I will know straight away that that's not right. So if it's not right, I'll obviously relocate the part if it's possible, if I put something wrong. And then if not, then there's an issue with the part and we'll straight away escalate to production. And production will be made aware, engineering will be made aware that there's an issue with the part.
Right, okay. So I'm going to follow through. Can I take a couple of the dimensions? I want to check back to the specification.
Yeah. So 5.1, 5.9 and
515.
515, yeah, sure. So that's the 5.1 there. It's already marked up on the gauge. 5.1 there. You put it in, press it. Reading is 0.45.
0.45, yeah.
Yeah. Press the button. Then we go 5.5.
5.5.
That's here. We go 5.1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5.5. Then -0.13.
Okay.
You press the button.
Okay, and then
5.15 is 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Is -0.52. And that's it.
Right, good. So they're all within the defined specification.
Yes, so the defined specification is ±0.7, so it's right within the specification.
And once you've been through all the checks then, what do you give back to production to tell them that the first off has been okay?
We sign off the in-post check sheet. Saying
the one you showed me earlier?
Yeah, so we just sign it off saying it's all right.
Right, and the physical part, what happens to that?
Physical part, we scrap them. Because once we put on the gauge, there's a possibility of damaging the clips, there's a damaging the latching area in the back. So we just scrap the part, we raise the scrap note, and it's already recorded.
Right. Okay. And I've got on my agenda, I want to follow through what happens with the non-conforming parts in terms of rendering them unusable. So we'll check that a little bit further downstream.
No problem.
Okay. Thank you for your explanation.
No problem.
In this video, the auditor is following the audit trail from production to the laboratory to verify the first-off validation process for an injection molded part. The trail is followed from the holding area where the part is waiting the validation into the internal laboratory. This would give an opportunity to verify the laboratory scope, any environmental controls required in the laboratory, and also the competency of the laboratory personnel. The auditee demonstrated how the part is loaded into the checking fixture and how measurements are made. Good practice by the auditor included not only witnessing the checks to be recorded, Take two. Good practice by the auditor included not only witnessing the checks, but also recording the values for follow-up to verify that the checks and the acceptance criteria match back to the product specification. There is also the opportunity for the auditor to ask how the software program was validated to ensure that the correct acceptance criteria was built within the software program. An audit trail can be followed to verify the calibration and verification of the fixture and also of the dial test indicator that is being used in the measurement process, as well as measurement system analysis for that type of measurement system. Finally, when discovering the part would be scrapped after the first-off checks are complete, the auditor correctly stated they would follow up on how the part is disposed of, in accordance with IATF requirement 8.7.1.7, non-conforming product disposition. One of the key competencies for an auditor is to follow audit trails. In this video, the auditor followed the audit trail from production to verify the first-off validation in the laboratory. Once again, in auditing the laboratory, there are many opportunities to follow audit trails. For example, to verify the laboratory controls, to verify the laboratory scope, to verify the environmental controls, to verify calibration and measurement system analysis for the type of measuring equipment used. And then finally, for the disposition of any non-conforming product. However, auditors really do need to manage their time effectively and not lose sight of the scope of the audit, and also manage the time effectively. If not, then the auditor could end up auditing the whole system in one audit.